Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hello, all my narrators. This is Halsey Allen on the one, the only Narrative Podcast. You're listening to another full edition of the Narrative Podcast on this wonderful Saturday evening. And this is the latest that I've ever recorded. But, you know, it happens. First time for everything. Glad to be broadcasting today, though. I took a little time off. Just had to step back from the craft for a little bit. Doing a lot. Trying to do a lot. So trying to get back on my poetry. Let me tell you, I still haven't posted anything on my poetry blog yet. I said, I made a little fibber out of myself. I said on my live feed on Thursday that I was going to post some new content. But it just didn't happen. Inspiration didn't strike. Or like what I wrote, I wasn't satisfied with posting it. And so, yeah, I'm trying to wait to get back. Because once you stop doing something, it's kind of messed up. But I'm trying to get back into the groove of writing, posting poetry on my personal poetry blog. So that's why I took a little step back. But yeah, I'm back for another full episode of the Narrative Podcast. Welcome all my narrators, and welcome everybody new that's unfamiliar with my platform. So let's give you a proper introduction. The Narrative Podcast is the home of original people peace, reciprocity, and positivity. My narrators, they already know the demonstration. They already know what my content is about. But for everybody new, what I'm going to do is just give you a brief overview, synopsis of precisely what I do here on this platform. So let's start at the very top, the tippy, the name, the narrative. Narrative Podcast. What does that imply? What does that insinuate? Well, first of all, I named my podcast the Narrative Podcast because the media weaves a false narrative about original people and original culture. They paint us in the most negative light they possibly can to push false narratives about our people and our culture. And what I want to do is I wanted to design a platform where I'm showcasing and highlighting us at our best and celebrating all of our accomplishments and everything we bring to the table as a people, thus rectifying that false narrative that they put out about us. And my ultimate goal is to inspire everyone to bring awareness of how important it is to share positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. And that's kind of my mission statement too, is to bring provide positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. And I want to inspire listeners to do the same. As a matter of fact, that's my tagline, the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. And how to do I destroy the negative stereotypes? By providing positive frames of reference. Because, we're constantly being bombarded with negativity when it comes to our people and our culture. So that's all we know, that's all we see, that's all we hear. That's all people see and hear outside of our culture as well. that are not familiar with this. They don't live anywhere by us, aren't neighbors to us. You know, things of that nature. It's not really caring about what people outside of our culture think about us. This is basically a platform where I'm setting the record straight by providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture, because we're now living in the digital age. Everything's online, and people basically judge you based on the content that you're posting online. People equate whatever you're posting online with your personality, with your faith and value systems, with your morals, with your anything you're interested, with your faith, with your values, how you perceive life. People shouldn't do that, but people do that, and unfortunately, when it comes to our people, what's trending and circulating online, they take that as the gospel about our people and our culture. So that's the last thing we as a people need to be doing, is feeding into the negative stereotypes and stigmas that they place over us by posting negativity online. So just imagine what people outside of our culture think about our people and our culture if we're posting like gang culture, drug culture, thought culture, violence culture, gun culture, drug culture, user and dealer, from the user end of it to the dealer end of it. So you can just imagine like the global perception of our people just based on what's being posted online. And so like I said, it's done intentionally by the media, primarily for money, for profit. They do that to generate money, but then they also do that to control the minds of the masses and market us a certain way to a certain demographic, and then also to solidify dominant societies, socioeconomic stronghold they have over the resources by placing themselves at the top of the food chain, by making everyone else look lower and less than them, especially our people. And why they do that especially to our people? Because they are especially fearful of us. They know our history, they know our origin, they know what we're capable of, and they don't. And the biggest thing that they're afraid of is once we realize our history and our culture and get on one accord with each other, instead of always being against each other, they're afraid that we'll do the same thing to them that they've done and are still doing to us. But that'll never happen, because that's not in our nature. We don't have a history of being warlike, only they do. We don't have a history of oppressing. We don't have the resources to exclude them out of anything. So to be anti-anything, you have to have the power of exclusion. And as a people, we do not possess that. But, also, although the media is very evil and wicked and very divisive, the media is basically a business. It's supply and demand. So, all these Fortune 500 companies and production companies, they gather their data, their statistical research and all their data to create products based on what they see online, based on what's trending, based on what we're clicking on and what we're posting. And so if you're ever befuddled as to why we have all this crappy television programming depicting our likenesses, why we have all these crappy movies misrepresenting us, literature and music misrepresenting our people, it's because, that's what they believe we want. That's what they believe we like. That's what they believe based on their statistical research. That's what they believe we want to be seen and represented as, And so, longer story short, said all that to say, we can change the narrative simply by controlling what we're putting out, what type of content that we're putting out on our platforms online. It's why I call my target audience my narrators, because we have the ability to tell or narrate our stories now in this digital age. So, that's what I'm kind of using this platform to do, is imploring people to take up the crusade with me to bring some positivity, put positive frames of reference about our people and our culture online, make it readily available so that people don't just flock and gravitate and run with the false narratives that's being generated and propagated about our people, making people subliminally accept dysfunction and toxicity as normal. See, we are a righteous, prideful people, and very morally defined, have always been. But over the course of time, by them putting out these false narratives, we as a people are subconsciously accepting that. We're accepting that as normal. So what we got to do is we got to take our power back and stop normalizing things that aren't normal within our community. Like, we've been programmed and conditioned to accept poverty, to accept degeneracy, to accept lewd conduct, to accept blatant disrespect of each other, our women, our children, ourselves. And we got to take our power back and stop normalizing things that aren't normal. For example, like, in a black household, we take and run with these low negative stereotypes. We got to stop taking and running with those negative stereotypes about, black fathers not being present in the household, and this new one, the bad bitch stereotype. We got to stop running with that, and all these negative stereotypes and stigmas about our people and our culture. So, basically what I'm saying, we got to uplift and edify each other at all times and hold each other up. And because basically, we get attacked on all sides from all different groups. And so basically we got to unite and stick together and just put out those positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. So, it's not, like I said, this is not to care about what people outside of our culture think about us. This isn't begging for, people outside of our culture's approval of us. This is basically like, a call to tell our story correctly. Because if history hasn't taught us anything, it's taught us this. If you don't tell your story will be told for you. And that's basically what my platform is about, is to tell our story correctly. And that's it, and that's all. That's my mission statement. Another thing about my platform, it's time sensitive. So this is a full episode of the Narrative podcast. It's divided into sections. Each section has a speaking point. And the reason why I've done that is because when I first started podcasting, I did not know what type of content that I want to speak about, what types of subjects that I want to speak on. But then once I had a clear picture of what I want to do, what type of information that I wanted to bring to the table, I said, let me do this. Let me just pick a topic. Well, so let me pick a topic and or pick a mission statement. Like, what am I trying to do? What kind of message am I trying to convey? And what I came up to the conclusion is I want to uplift and edify my people. What's the most effective way to do that is basically shoot straight to the meat. So doing it that way allows me to touch on a lot of topics, and then it also prevents me from going down rabbit holes, talking in circles and droning on and on, because no matter how good of a speaker you are, living in today's world, everybody got short attention spans, easily distracted on their device, and their normal goings on throughout the day, whatever they got on their plate. So what I want to do is I want to design a platform where I'm the beacon, I'm the voice, and I'm facilitating the intellectual needs of everybody at all levels of knowledge. Because while some of us possess high vernacular and read a lot of books, others of us do not. So I just want to basically touch everybody. Put out the knowledge, put out the resources and the information, and I just want to have that practical, applicable, conscious message for everybody. I don't want to shoot over anyone's heads, and I also don't want to dumb myself down. So I want to be right there in the middle pocket, and basically you don't have to clear your entire schedule if you miss an episode here and there, and then also you're not just totally lost about what I'm trying to say or my thoughts that I'm trying to convey. So like I said, just making it practical and pliable and accessible to all people from all walks of life. And last misnomer about my podcast, I refer to our people as original people, because we are original. It's a universal word to unify us as a people, because there are so many different types of us, hailing from so many different land masses, but we all got one thing in common. We're all original people. And then also, I just think that, better suits us than the word black. I'm not going to go into a long explanation like I've been doing in the past. It's if you know, just on my platform, I refer to our people as black. So I'm not going to lecture about the word black and all that and why I say that anymore. It's just because that's my theology. And if you have, any type of scholarship behind you, you already know. And if you don't, we're living in the Google area. You can do your due diligence on it, and you will see my train of thought behind that. But anyway, with no further ado, because this is a very, very late episode. It's like the latest I've ever broadcast a full episode of the Narrator podcast, because I'm usually like in the late afternoon, but you know, now I'm in the evening. But yeah, so with no further ado, here we go. The Narrative Podcast for episode Saturday edition. Here we go. I think I covered all my bases, brought you up to speed, and I'm about to give you what you need. So let's dive on into it. Brother Halzie Allen on Narrative Podcast. Let's get it. First section. My first section is the promo section. In this section, what I'm doing is I'm giving original people the opportunity to promote their businesses, product, and services, or whatever, you know, events, or whatever that got going on that they feel they need some promotion, the opportunity to reach out to me and get some free promotion. And the reason why I'm doing that is to do my part to help circulate the original people in the original people dollar within the original people community. Although while we are due reparations until we get it, you know, it's up to us to support each other's businesses, and you know, I'm not charging any money for that. I do have a following, so like it's free, so why not? All publicity is good publicity. I can shoot some customers your way. I'm providing you a service. I'm not even requiring or asking you to promote my podcast. So it's just quid pro quo. Just doing it, you know, reach one, teach one, and you know, just making businesses known to go, you know, get us to support each other. So if you need, or if you are an entrepreneur, got a business, product, service, or an event that you need or would like promoted, please hit me up, Halzie Allen at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type promo in the body of the email, and make sure to include everything you want people to know about your brand, product, service, event that you would need or would like promoted, and I will gladly promote it here on my platform, the Narrative Podcast, for 110% for free, no charge, putting it out there in the universe. The more, you know, specific details you provide, the better the promotional drop will be. So, yeah, make sure to include all the really important stuff, and I'll gladly promote it here on my platform for free. And I'm going to run it back one more time on how to get in touch with me. Hit me up, Halzie Allen at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. Subject bar, type promo, body of the email, tell me everything you need, would like the people to know about your brand, business, product, or service or event that you need or want promoted. All right, on to the second section. What I'm doing is running a contest, and a contest just exclusively for my brand, the Narrator Podcast, and basically it's just like an incentive to participate in the content, reach out to my listeners, seeing like it's basically like a homework assignment. And so basically I'm giving a homework assignment just to see if you're paying attention, and it's basically a contest just to give people incentive to keep on listening to my podcast and interact with my my listeners. And the contest subject is basically sharing your most recent shopping while black experience, and for doing so you will be rewarded with a bulk supply of your favorite snack food item. And to enter this contest, you hit me up at the exact same email address that I just gave for the promotion, for the free promotion. But here's the plot twist, so put your ears on. I'm separating the two through the subject bar. So to enter the contest, and the name of the contest, by the way, is the Chew On This contest. So to enter the contest for my podcast, the Chew On This contest, hit me up, Halsey Allen at passion.Webmail at poeticpassion.host, and in the subject bar, type Chew On This / shopping while black. And if you don't want to type the entire word shopping while black, you can type SWB in all caps. And yeah. I'm sorry, I just kind of trailed off in thought, but yeah, basically that'll do it. Oh yeah, in the body of the email, make sure you include your mailing address so I know where to send your prize, your most recent shopping while black experience, and the type of snack food item that you would like as your prize, and I'll send it to you free of charge. And I'm gonna run it back one more time before diving into the content. So to enter the Chew On This contest, hit me up, Halsey Allen at passion.Webmail at poeticpassion.host. Subject bar, type shopping Chew On This contest / shopping while black, or SWB in all caps if you don't want to type shopping while black. And the body of the email, make sure to include your mailing address so I know where to send your prize, your most recent shopping while black experience, and then what type of snack food item that you would like as your prize. And remember, I'm sending a bulk supply of your favorite snack food item, not just sending you an individual serving size. It's a bulk supply, a get right supply of your favorite snack food item. So the more you support me, the better the prizes start getting. I'm working on sponsorship, so you'll start seeing more luxurious type things coming from me, like earbuds and vacations and restaurant coupons and all that. But for right now, I just got a bulk supply of your favorite snack food item. So yeah, And that'll do it for the contest section on the Narrator podcast. Now we're going to dive on into the nitty gritty. Those two sections was the warm up. Here's the main event on the Narrator podcast, the highlight section. And what this section is about, this section is promoting already established businesses owned and operated by original men and original women. And the purpose of me doing this is for a lot of reasons. The main reason is to provide positive frames of reference about entrepreneurialism. Because the few frames of reference about entrepreneurialism that we have available to us, sadly, on social media and like mainstream television, mainstream media like television, reality shows, where it's depicted negatively, like they're playing up a whole lot of dysfunction and toxicity, and you're missing the journey. You're missing the entrepreneur's journey. It's like they focus the lens on us behaving badly on camera, fighting each other, conducting ourselves negatively, engaging in ratchet-like behavior. But when you peel back the onion layers of it, it's like people that start at the bottom level, now earning 5 to 6 figures or better, have like 2 or 3 different entities under their umbrella, employing over 1,000 people, responsible for sending people's children that work for them through their college and 401k and all that good jazz. But like I said, the camera focuses on the negativity. They focus on us fighting each other, cursing each other out, squaring up with each other on camera, playing up those negative stereotypes and stigmas about our people and our culture. And, we get sucked into that plot and we tune into it for that reason. And, people outside of our culture as well. And they take and run with that narrative that they set up about our people and our culture. So on this, in this section, what I'm doing is I'm bypassing all that and I'm walking you through an entrepreneur's journey on how they start their business, what their brand is all about, their mission statements, all their obstacles that they had to endure starting. Basically, I'm telling you their bio for the business, the types of entrepreneurs that I usually highlight in the highlight section are just basically like regular people like you and I, work 9 to 5 jobs, but they, want to do something different with their lives. They want to get off that treadmill, be responsible for their own well-being as well as their own family's well-being and their community's well-being, provide jobs, provide a viable product or service that'll benefit the greater good. Also, the type of entrepreneurs that I highlight in the highlight section, they either pay into a nonprofit organization or they have one of their very own. So, yeah. And then I think finally a couple things I'm also doing is creating the healthy habit of promoting our own businesses and also, just putting out, creating unity, getting everybody on one accord. Also, my last thing is all the businesses that featured in the highlight section align up with my theme. And my current theme was the season of summer, but it seems like summer pretty much is over. The children are back in school now. So we pretty much then had the last week of summer was last week. And I don't think I did a full episode last week. But summer, it's pretty much safe to say that summer is officially over. We're now shifting into fall. So, this marks the unofficial beginning of fall. Gregorian calendar aside, for all intensive purposes, now it is the season of fall. And as I said, summertime it's a fair assessment that summertime, especially here in the States, is officially over. And it's back to school season. The children have started back to school, and what better way to start off the highlight section? All the businesses featured in the highlight section feature the quintessential back to school supply that all children need to start a successful semester at school is notebooks. Now, I'm going to go off on a little side tangent before diving in to, the highlight section. I think this era that we're living in, I think, the back to school supplies is kind of a whole lot of cat, because there's all kind of free giveaways, book bags, with all the everything they might need. I don't think, if they're not in middle school or high school, I don't really think, book bags and stuff and things to write with are necessary. Especially now that we're in the cell phone technology, they can take whatever notes they need. Because, they don't even issue the books until the second or third week of school. And now, a whole lot of schools, they've been budgeted to distribute book bags and whatever the child may need for their classes, within the first couple of weeks, if, you sign some type of waiver to give your child the book bags and the notebooks and the binders and all that jazz. But, basically, longer story short, if you're going to spend money on back to school supplies for your child, you might as well spend it back. Or if you are in college, and you need some back to school supplies for yourself, you might as well spend it in your own community. So that's what I'm providing the frames of reference today here in the highlight section on the Narrator podcast. Notebooks. I think spiral notebooks is just something you need. And that's all the businesses that I'll be featured on the highlight section today. On the highlight section of the Narrator podcast is, stationary companies that sell notebooks and back to school supplies. But without no further ado, first business in the highlight section of the Narrator podcast highlight section is a brand called Be Rooted. And Be Rooted was started and founded by the entrepreneur by the name of Jasmine Foster. It was established in 2020. Web address is berooted.com. Jasmine's previous working experience before starting her own business was she did sales at Target, retail sales, Target, Amazon, General Mills, and Urban Skin. she basically was always into stationery. She liked personalizing her notebooks and her journals, and she wanted to turn her passion into a business, because of course you don't see anything for us in that area, and she basically wanted, to start her own brand to show inclusion and reinforce positive study habits within our community, especially for our women, our sisters, in their studies. That's what her brand is, geared towards. And you can go hit her up for a complete bio and to see, everything she offers at berooted.com. And I'm going to just, take a little gander, some more things she offers, so I can be a little bit more informed, because I didn't really put that in the bulleted notes. She does journals, notebooks, planners, calendars, recipe books. But like I said, today I'm focusing on the notebooks. And so, she got everything's customizable, but for the most part, all the artwork is some type of positivity, some type of positive affirmation, visually and with words as well. Just so what she's trying to do is basically create empowerment through visual representation of our people. As a matter of fact, her product's name kind of is her own philosophy. When she says be rooted, what she means is to be rooted within the culture. And she wanted to create a space for women to see themselves in a place they hadn't been, weaving culture into every design and message. Be rooted in culture, be rooted in reflection, be rooted in who you are. That's her mission statement. So go to her website, support the sister's brand. Let's give a warm Narrative podcast round of applause for our sister Jasmine Foster and the Be Rooted brand. And next brand featured in the highlights section on the Narrative podcast is a brand called Booked. Booked was established in 2016 by a sister by the name of Tamara P. George and Adrian Brooke. It started when Tamara gifted Adrian a planner for her 26th birthday. And from there, the movement was born. I kind of streamlined the story. It's a very interesting backstory, but they have all that on their website at book.com. So when you go there, they actually have a video up telling, their origin story in more detail. But for my time goal, I just kind of streamlined it and simplified it. But basically, that's how the brand started. They faced all kinds of, pushback when they were starting their brand. Their headquarters is in DC. Their parent company is the Pinkwood Agency. Their core value system is entrepreneurship. I keep on saying shape. Entrepreneurship, faith, and culture. Entrepreneurship. Okay. But yeah, that's the quintessential building blocks of their brand. They do a lot of hiring their own, whole lot of empowerment projects. They want to empower future entrepreneurs to, start and launch their own brands as well. And it's a great product. They got planners, they got journals, they got all your stationery needs, anything you think you can want stationery wise, journals, planners, and of course notebooks, binders, anything you need for your scholastic needs going back to school. Hit those sisters up at Booked. Let's make a warm narrative podcast for Tamara and Adrian at Booked. And last but not least, here on the highlight section for the Narrative Podcast is a product established in 2019 by a then 7-year-old when she launched a product called Just Be Hue. It was established in 2019. You can go www.justbehue.supplies.com, and the young sister's name is Kamara Warren. She went to back to school brand, inclusion and all that. See herself, represented, a young original lady, represented in a positive light. So empowerment for our youth, started by our youth, and it's real cute. Like I said, sorry, it's not too much for her background. I couldn't find any information where she got the seed money to launch it and all that, but evidently her parents, helped her do it in hue, which is a color spectrum. So that's what that means, to represent all, flesh tones of our people, hue. So it's basically a play on words. And go to her site right quick, because I did forget to put, the business module in the bulletin notes. So this is exclusively on supplies, notebook bundles. And when you go to the website, you will see the pillars of success. Empowerment, improved academic performance, counteracting negative stereotypes, encourages creativity, critical thinking, promotes and celebrates self-love. So that's everything the product does. They got an array, an assortment. They got pens, they got paint brushes, they got pencil sets, pencil boxes, backpacks. But they definitely got the notebooks and the binders, because this edition is focused on the binders. arts and crafts, backpacks, school supplies. They got binders, clipboards, journals, sketchbooks, folders. And again, all positive messages on them. And they also got some stuff for the young men I see. They got, King. They got a little picture with a brother on there. I know all the stuff, the two businesses that I presented before that was just really focused on the sister, but they got stuff for our young kings as well. And that's always good, because we definitely need more for our young men, because that Black Girl Magic and Black Girls Rock, that's a really cool movement, but we need some stuff too for the young brothers, our young kings, because, it starts, that's where it starts, in childhood. So we need some positive images of success and empowerment as well. So it's good that, whoever's helping her with that brand had the fortitude and the foresight to think about our young men as well. So join me in the Warm Narrative Podcast. Round of applause for young Miss Korea Warren and her Just Be Hugh brand. All right, next section on the Narrative Podcast is the Spotlight section. In the Spotlight section, this section is dedicated to spotlighting a prominent figure within our community. Now, I usually spotlight people in the entertainment industry, such as actors, actresses, athletes, recording artists, comedians, public figures, religious figures. Religious figures aren't really entertainers, but producers, writers, people affluent, active on social media, public figures. Basically, people representing us in a positive light. And so that's what I'm doing in the Spotlight section, is I'm putting out in the universe to create the healthy habit of uplifting our brothers and sisters. So that's what I was doing, basically, to creating a healthy habit of lifting our people, so basically, that's what I'm doing, is creating a healthy habit of people lifting our brothers and sisters up in a positive way, because unfortunately our people has developed a real nasty habit of dragging each other online. And we're the only people to do it. You don't see Spanish people dragging each other online. You don't see Italian people clapping back and forth online. And, we've been duped into, as content creators, think that's the only way you can make money online, is to denigrate your own brother and own sister. And we just fuel and fan the flames of existing beef when people are at odds, and we fan and fuel it in the hopes of profit. They also reward it and incentivize it. So what I want to do is I want to create a healthy habit of just bigging your brother and sister up, giving them the roses, saying something positive about what they're doing for us, or the way they're carrying and conducting themselves. Everybody I spotlight on the spotlight section does some type of activism, speaks unapologetically on our behalf, about our people and our culture, uses their platforms to elevate us and not take us down, does some type of philanthropy, whether it's some type of philanthropy, some type of giving back, and definitely the way they hold themselves in the eye of the public. And not for nothing, your brother Halsey Allen can officially say I created the way for spotlighting, because before I added a spotlight section to my podcast, the Narrator podcast, nobody was spotlighting anybody. Now every time I created the way for spotlighting, because before I created this spotlight section on my podcast, the Narrator podcast, nobody was spotlighting anybody. Now everybody got every time they got on a guest, bring on a guest, or interviewing somebody, they're like, today on the whatever show, we're spotlighting this person, that person, blah, say blah, etc., etc., etc. And I guess I gotta toot my own horn for that.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
In a real way. So yeah. That's basically what I was doing. Just creating the healthy habit of saying something nice about your brother and sister online, as opposed to always saying something slanderous and denigrating and derogatory. Because like I said, we catch hell from all sides, and the last thing we need, this is war, and the last thing we need is friendly fire. We don't need to be fighting amongst ourselves. Like, we don't have to like each other to unify. It's okay not to like somebody, but we all should be having the same common goal to, I know we all got the same common goal. And it's alright, it's really alright. But if we can't unify, can we at least do this? At least use, preschool. Can we at least use our preschool training? If you don't have something nice to say about somebody, don't say anything at all. Like, we're all entitled to our own opinions. Everybody got an opinion. But like, do we always got to be the ones slinging mud at each other? We shouldn't be. But anyway, with no further ado, today on the Spotlight section on the Narrative Podcast, today's Spotlight is focused on a young go-getter by the name of Miss Bridget Todd. Bridget Todd is a digital activist, strategist, and voice for change. She's the director of communications for Ultraviolet. Ultraviolet's a national women's advocacy organization, feminist group with an anti-discrimination focus. She's also the host of No Girls on the Internet. It's a empowerment podcast for sisters She's also the founder and CEO of Unbossed, and their mission statement is to basically uplift digital content that addresses social issues, to get behind her, to follow her for everything she's currently got going on. I'm going to follow her on Twitter, or X as it's called now, at Bridget Marie. And so join me into giving Miss Bridget Todd a warm narrative podcast round of applause for all she does for the movement. All right, moving right along. Next section on the Narrative Podcast section is the Health and Wellness section. And the Health and Wellness section, it's pretty self-explanatory. What I'm doing in this section is giving health and wellness tips for our people. Now, everyone is welcome to listen to the Narrative Podcast from all walks of life. But just know all the content on the Narrative Podcast is directed towards my people, the original people. All my content is, especially in this section. And why especially this section? Because this section is designed to, give health and wellness tips for all the areas that my people are being attacked. And we're being attacked physically, mentally, spiritually. They're putting things in our air, food, and water. And mental things. They're doing psychiatric things, attacking our psyche, attacking our spirit and our essence. So, I'm doing just basically giving tips how to, fortify ourselves in all the areas that we're being attacked. As I said, anybody from any walk of life is more than welcome to listen to my podcast content and apply it in all the areas that you can apply it to. But all my content is directed towards my people. That's my demographic. But yeah, it's just basically health and wellness tips. So like physically, you might hear examples of things you can ingest or apply topically to improve your health, such as the health benefits of a fruit, veggie, plant, herb extract that'll improve your overall health, or some type of physical exercise you can perform to improve your health and vitality. On the mental side of it, for the health and wellness tips, talk about things like mental, mindfulness, things to, help keep your mental well-being well taken care of, upkept, such as mindfulness, mindful breathing, meditation, seeking therapy, things to enhance mood, things that improve concentration, cognitive skills. Those are the types of things, for the mental tips, the mindful tips, because everything starts in the mind. Spiritual practices, praying, meditation, getting your energy aligned, and all that good jazz. And every once in the blue moon, I might throw out some things like, law of attraction type stuff, esoteric type stuff, divine law, quantum law, and all that type of jazz. But today, we're focusing on the health benefits of something that you can take internally or apply topically. We're going to be talking about the health benefits of clove. Cloves are actually flower buds of the clove tree, an evergreen. I'm not going to attempt to try to pronounce the scientific name, but you can feel free to do your Googles and take a crack at it. So first of all, cloves are rich in fiber, vitamins, and minerals. They have antioxidant properties, which means they burn fat. They're antibacterial, antimicrobial, helps improve liver functions, also helps relieve pain. Cloves are very versatile. You can use them whole. Not only, it's an essential oil. In essential oil form, you can actually leave whole clove. You can leave them in areas of their house. They absorb odor. They also elevate and enhance mood. Like I said, if you can leave them in different areas of your house in the whole form, they purify the air by killing, airborne pathogens. You can also, there's some spiritual aspects of whole clove. It's said, I don't know if there's any truth behind it. You can put some whole clove in your wallet, and it's supposed to attract financial abundance. You can put it whole cloves under your pillow. It's supposed to help your mood, help, block bad entities from getting you in your sleep. Like I already said, it enhances mood, flushes your liver. Another hack is you can make natural toothpaste with clove, because it kills all the bacteria and germs in your mouth. You can take some coconut oil, mix it with some baking soda and clove, ground clove, and that'll keep you fresh, kill all the bad breath germs. Use it on your gums if you got any inflammation. You can also mix some with just plain water and kind of gargle that and loosen any mucus. You can put clove in your essential oil if you got one of those. What are they called? Diffusers. To elevate your mood, freshen your home, make it smell good, destroy bad odors, and kill airborne bacteria and airborne pathogens. And also, if you have rodents and insects, they are good for that. They don't like clove. It is toxic to them, to their physiology. So, it's supposed to kill rodents and other bugs. So it has a lot of uses. It's very medicinal. So, go get some clove in your life. And that'll do it for the health and wellness section here on the Narrator Podcast. Moving right along. Speaking point of the day. So next section is a speaking point of the day, or speaking, sometimes I call it my speaking point of the day is basically where I'm addressing current news, breaking news things from our perspective. And the purpose of me doing this type of commentary, what I'm doing is basically I'm controlling the narrative. Because if history hasn't taught us anything, it's taught us this. If you don't tell your own story will be told for you. And so that's the purpose of me doing, a speaking point, just basically breaking whatever's going down in the world from our perspective, rather than, mainstream media, because the media have us looking and sounding crazy all the time. They're taking twists and distort things and, make us look like the aggressor and make us seem and look and sound unintelligent. So that's the purpose of me doing, breaking news, is unpacking whatever's going on in the world or in our community from our perspective. So without any further ado, jumping on into my speaking points, some stuff I want to touch on today here on the Narrator podcast. So, as you know, election time is rolling around, and what do we got? What happened the last time election time rolled around? What do we get? We got that thing that shut us down for 3 whole months. Even longer, because after we came out of it, the restrictions were still there. So it was like, okay, we ain't in curfew no more, but we were still living like super weird. So now apparently we got some new streams coming out. And of course we got a new series of jabs to treat the new series of, that thing. And so what is all this hinting at? What is probably gearing up for what I've been saying. Now, it didn't happen when I said it, but what I've been saying, we're going to have another government shutdown. So you better start stocking up on your pantry items. You better start stocking up on your food, on your water, on all your non-perishables. Get you a comfortable, set some money aside to get comfortable for another couple months, because it's going to happen all over again. Thousands are going to get sick, and some are going to die. And so it's all over again. And then they're already stirring the pot racially, because there's a whole lot of other things. So I might have already did a spoiler alert, because that's actually something else that I want to talk about a little bit later. But yeah, it's about to get like real messed up, jacked up. So you better they're already putting all this stuff in the food, so you better start stocking up now. Not, inciting fear. I'm just like pointing out the writing on the wall. That's what it's gearing up to. So you better start stocking up on your toilet paper, your water, getting you a fallback plan on your finances, keeping your eye on the trends on the market, so to get, some, passive streams of currency getting ready going on. and make sure wherever you're at is comfortable, and start looking for some place you want to be when it goes down. If you don't want to be where you're currently at now, so do all your traveling and do all your thinging, do it now, because we're going to get comfortable again. We're going to go right back to where we was. What else is going on in the news? Trump case. So if you're a Narrative podcast listener, then you know I already predicted that his trial was going to be one of the most entertaining trials of the century. It's been a non-stop media frenzy ever since it started. And like I said, he's throwing everybody that can fit under the bus. Like, the guy, say what you want about him, but he kind of can't miss. Like, dude ain't missing. He says, like, the dumbest racial stuff. But at the same time, with all his lies, he tells the truth too, which is kind of unusual about the politicians, because when he said what he said, like, he been telling the truth about a whole lot of stuff. Like, before, while the election was going on, when he was talking about the thing, he said, oh, don't worry about it, it's going to be, it's just going to go away. He already knew. He was letting you know that it was going to come to an end, and it was just something that the government was doing. It was basically like, a social experiment, like it's unfortunately like a whole lot of other nations was involved in it too. And for what reason they wanted us all to stay in the house is still kind of unbeknownst, but he kind of told the truth about that. Now, as I said, as an original man, I despise the things he said about our people, the blatant disrespect and disregard. But policy-wise, just talking about policy-wise, on paper, financially, policy-wise and financially, policy-wise, a whole lot of us that was wrongfully incarcerated got to come home. Whole lot of us that was sitting up there on trumped up charges got to come home. When the thing did hit, okay, say what you want to say about him now. When the thing did hit, he was holding people accountable. Like, the main person that was trying to hold the process up was Nancy Pelosi. He put executive orders out and threatened to get her, do whatever he needed to do to get her fired if she tried to, stop the aid from going out. Whether you believe he was the person that caused it or not, he was kind of getting stuff done. We had a whole civil unrest. He did say when the looting starts, the shooting starts, which, like, I'm an original man, like, so any other original man, women heard it, they want to punch him in the face. I want to punch him in the face when he said that. Of course, so I'm not fanboying for the orange guy, but I'm just saying there was a whole lot of, truths and a whole lot of, he didn't just make total nonsense out of it. Because, like, in Dave Chappelle's special, he pointed out, like, he was saying some stuff about his taxes. He said, why would I pay him? You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that. Now, what it's causing in our community, it's causing a wave of Trump supporters. Because Biden, he ain't really done nothing. He literally only had one job, which was his one campaign promise he was adamant about, which was to cancel the student loan debt. He didn't even make good on his one on his one promise. He really only promised one thing, and he ain't made good on nothing. So definitely for our people, there wasn't nothing on the table. He didn't bring nothing on the table. The Democratic Party in general, has racist origins. There was slave freeing the slaves. They was against that. They tried to stop that process, and do your own due diligence. I'm not going to lecture nobody, because personally I don't believe in politics at all. I don't believe in the Republican Party, Democratic Party, independent, liberal, red wing, right wing, conservative, liberal. It's all some BS to me. I don't care about none of it. I only care about what's in it for us. And so what's in it for us? That's what, if you believe in the systematic, the democracy and all that, that's all we should as a people ever be concerned about it. What's in it for us? Who got something for us? And I think the reason why we're rallying, what our people is trying to rally around Trump right now, is the disdain and the distrust of the government. Because it's usually when the government, and we know above all people, when the government's trying to suppress somebody from talking, they know something. They know something, and they don't want the something that they know to reach the masses. And so I think all the Trump support coming out of our community is just us wanting to know what he knows about these wicked, diabolical people. So again, I'm just saying, purely from a policy standpoint, I'm not stamping none of that F-ish, all that dumb stuff he was saying, gargle with the bleach, and shithole countries and all that dumb stuff he was saying. I'm still tight about that, like all y'all still tight about that. I'm still tight about all the civil unrest and all that, like everybody else is tight about, that happened on his watch, that he kind of contributed to all the dog whistles that he was blowing when in regards to our people, when he was telling groups like the Proud Boys, get ready, stand by, and do what y'all need to do and all that. But at the same time, policy-wise, I'm just saying policy-wise, we had money. Now Joe Biden, he ain't brought nothing to the table. Absolutely nothing. Inflation's gone up. Well, inflation's always going to go up. But presidents are just really a figurehead anyway. They can't really do little to nothing, but America is a corporation. It's ran like a business. America, let's get out there, it's not a country, it's a corporation. We strip it down to the bare bones. America's a corporation, and our people, we got to start thinking business-minded, when it comes to terms about these elected officials. So we shouldn't be focused on holding them accountable. We should just jump in front of the bullet and who got something on the table for us. Because we are the major wheels that make this country go around. We're the biggest cog in the machine. Like, if you take us out the equation, this whole thing will stop and collapse over on itself. And they keep on pushing that false narrative. They keep on pushing that false narrative that, you know, we don't contribute anything to this country, and like, you know, we're always complaining. But if we just sat down and just stopped everything, like, if our troops, we make up like over 60% of our armed forces. Like, if we sat down, we couldn't have a military. We sat down, we couldn't have a police force. We sat down, they couldn't have industrial. We sat down, they couldn't have retail. If we sat down, they couldn't have nothing. Understand? And they know our true power. That's why they keep on with all these oppressive measures to suppress us. So we definitely matter in this society. And so instead of trying to fight the system, just like, you know, we need to be more business oriented about it and just make shrewd business choices rather than voting with our emotions on how we feel about people. You know, like, what was the movie quote what is that movie? Cuba Gooding Jr., Show Me the Money. Jerry Maguire. That's what we got to adapt that mindset. Like, show us the money. And I'm not saying like compromise our integrity and morals and beliefs and value systems for the money, but, you know, we got to, like, you know, we got to start flexing our worth. We got to start flexing our worth and just showing that we're worth something. And they can't do nothing without us. That's the only way we're going to get what we need outside of just do it ourselves. Which we definitely need to do that too. Our own schools, our own, you know, learning institutions, all grade levels. We definitely especially need more vocational training skills facilities. You know, age-old things that there's always going to be in high demand, such as like welding, brick masonry, you know, electrical work, HVAC, you know, food, hospitality, nursing. You know, we need our own institutions for that. We definitely need our own banks in financial districts. But, you know, we just need to be more business oriented when it comes to this voting stuff, and get our emotions out of it. Because one thing you can't do, you can't sit up there and blame Trump for all the racist things in the world. We can't sit up here and say as a people, he's the most racist president that we've ever had in the White House. You cannot say that. You can't say he's the most racist president we've ever had in the White House. Can't pin every single thing on Donald Trump. You can't pin it all on him. And that's kind of what our government's trying to do, is make him the scapegoat for everything that has happened during his little 2 years in office. Like, he just crumbled the fabric of our nation. And, you know, like, if you got some common sense to step back and be like, nah, they trying to make him the fall guy. You can't just blame all of it on him. He did a whole lot, but he ain't did it all like they trying to portray it. Now Giuliani, he's a different story. Like, yeah, he's a scumbag supreme. He don't got no redeeming qualities. I don't know how y'all put up with him for so long, NY. Giuliani, he's a scumbag to end all scumbags. But like I said, I'm not fanboying for Trump. I'm not telling you to go out to vote for him, but I'm just trying to, put it into perspective why it seems there's a high percentage of supporters coming out of our community for him, because that's what it's boiling down to. It's boiling back down to Joe and Trump again. And so he ain't did nothing. We got super duped with that administration. Kamala's super duper worthless. We got super duped with her. She tried to basically use blackface to secure our vote. Y'all let her insult our intelligence. She's the biggest insult to our intelligence since Obama. And before anybody says anything, well, they kept on blocking all his pop prints. He kept on blocking all his policies. They kept on blocking all his plans. Bruh, he's about to sign the stop and frisk. He's about to sign the mass incarceration crime bill before he was about to leave. He's about to sign the stop and frisk. That's what Obama was finna do. He's about to sign the stop and frisk. He was about to sign a mass incarceration crime bill. He's about to cut off all the programs that was helping us. He's about to cut all those off. And since he's been out of the White House, he's a Chicago native with worth more than six figures, has billionaire friends, and hasn't done anything for the city that he's from. Hasn't started any back-to-school programs for children. Hasn't gone to any jails to talk to any inmates. Hasn't gone to any schools to talk to the youth. Hasn't, done nothing for the city. And he got millionaire friends, and now his daughters are the target of some racism. So I would say I feel bad that it happened to the sisters, but on that, I would say chickens came home to roost on that. You laid down with them dogs, and now your babies is going through it because of your actions. Last thing I want to touch on. So there was a mass shooting in Florida. Happened around 2 p.m. at a General Dollar store. Again, this is the vibes for another racial squeamish. Because we just went through it, with the Buffalo shooter. So this dude, a Caucasian man, masked man, they haven't released his identity yet. They probably will by the time I upload this broadcast, this episode. They said, he had a handgun and the AR-15 rifle. He said one of the weapons, I think, had a swastika on it. And, now, little history lesson, the swastika was actually a symbol of peace in Ethiopia. But the colonizers do everything. They corrupted it to mean something evil, dirty, and foul. But yeah. So that happened. So you better believe if another one happens, because we just already seen, we had our little moment with the Alabama brawl. So we definitely flexed that we ain't going no more. So it can't really be like he killed himself. So, there's no point in trying to press authority, press the people that live in that city to do something, because he offed himself. So, there ain't no sense in pressing nobody to, hold somebody accountable, because he already even took his own life. But at the same time, what they could do legislative is, pass some legislation to make it more to put some pressure on, to make at least make people think about it. But if it's a suicide job, I don't know how much good help that will do. It's definitely like they're hurting us into, another civil unrest. That's what it's gearing up. It's seeming like. It's seeming like that's what they're sowing the seeds to do that, to have that big divide between us again, and everybody in an uncomfortable, weird space. And all this is happening around election time. So it's not, summer's officially over, but as we're moving into the fall, you can guarantee it's going to happen a couple more times in a couple more states. So it's like the call already went out. In that organization, the call already went out. So it's like he already understood. He understood the assignment. He got his homework. They're making it, trying to seem like it was just a random occurrence, but that's how that organization moves. He got the assignment. And he got the orders. If you get caught, off yourself. In the name of the Aryan Brotherhood. That's how they move. So the trumpet's already been sounded for that. And the weird thing about it is you can't tell who is just by, some of them you can't tell just by looking at them. You can just see it all over their aura, and that can tell they call you the N-word, hard R, just by looking at them. But all of them can't. Some of them hide it very, very well. But it's gearing up for that. Unfortunately, it's gearing up for that season. We are not safe, and we gotta start training our children again to look out for that, to recognize the signs of it, and what to do when it happens. So it wasn't like the guy was triggered or nothing. He just, that wasn't a natural occurrence. Like, he got an assignment. He got told to do that. You feel me? Because that's how that organization moves. So the trumpet's already been sounded. And on that note, what I'm saying is get ready, my people. Because this ain't over by a long shot. This is not over by a long shot. This is going to happen nationwide. We're going to start seeing 2 and 3 more of these. It's going to, it's in down south right now. It's going to start moving up north, onto the east, into the Midwest. We're going to start seeing a whole lot more of these. Like we're going to get a wave of it before the election. And then, like I said, we're going to be shut down for a little bit. During shutdown, it's going to happen a lot. This is all, for population control as well, because they're already putting stuff in the food. Like America has stamped, genetically modified foods. Like so many other countries has banned it. It seems like there's another country every week banning the food sales and consumption of genetically modified foods. Everybody except America. So it's basically like, that plays a factor in it as well. But yeah, that wasn't just a random coincidence. He definitely got his orders. He definitely got the assignment. He understood the assignment, and he followed through with the assignment. So, school's in class. Now we got to understand our assignment. Well, that's all the subjects I wanted to touch on today. Now on to my final section here on the Narrator Podcast. This is the final word or the final thought section. I kind of dip back and forth between calling it the final thought and the final word. It just depends on how I'm feeling. It just really all depends on how I'm feeling. Basically, the final thought or the final word is just a gem, a pearl of wisdom. Something to, motivate you, inspire you, cause you to think critically, or just ponder the complexities of life. And today's final thought or final word of the day, I'm thinking like final thought of the day, because it's more like, yeah, I'm getting final thought vibes. So my final thought of the day is understand the difference between progression and movement. Because the new hip-hop slang is like, I'm moving, baby, I'm moving. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 projects. You might be making some money. If you're trying to establish a brand, if you're on social media, you might be getting a lot of views and you're getting a lot of download streams or whatever. You might be at this event, that event, a whole lot of bookings and stuff. But is it movement or is it progression? And that's what you have to be cognitive of, and never mistake movement with progression. Because it's easy to move. It's easy to move. It's easy to make a move. It's easy to do something. But progression is not so simple. Progression is elevation. Did I go up when I did it? If you're moving, you just did something, and now it's on to the next thing, and it's on to the next thing. And it's like, did I do that one thing really, really well? Am I satisfied with the thing I did? Did it make progress? Did it make an impact? Did it impact my life? Did it impact others around me? What did I do with this thing? Did you progress or did you move when you're working for somebody else? Are you progressing or are you just moving? Are you just going through the motions? Like you might get the raise, you might get the promotion, you might get a title. But are you moving or are you progressing through the business? when you're working for somebody else? Did you progress? You know, do you have new skills? Did you have skills that you had before you started working at this place? Are you moving or are you progressing? Progression is development. Progression is elevation. Progression is improving. Progression is building. Progression is structure. Movement is just moving. It's like you're moving from one thing to another. You're moving over here, you're moving over there. You move from, you moved on up to the east side, but did you progress? You heard me? Did you elevate? Did you change? Did you cause change? Did you spark and inspire change? Did you change yourself? Did you change the atmosphere, or did you just move? So don't ever mistake movement for progression. So it's all right to do a whole lot of things. It's all right to try a whole lot of things. It's all right to have your hands in a whole lot of different things and try different stuff. But don't mistake movement for progression. Movement's just motion, like you're moving or going through the motions. If you're going through the motions without a purpose, then you're not progressing, you're just moving. So that's the final thought of the day, is do not mistake progression or movement for progression. Well, that's it, and that's all. That's another full edition of the Narrative Podcast. Join me next weekend for another full edition of the Narrative Podcast. Now, like I said, I might be pulling back on my lives, cause I'm trying to work on other projects, mainly my poetry, but you can definitely be checking out for my lives too. When I go live randomly through the weekday, I'll let you know if I'm not. On a day I'm not, I might just do a live to tell you I'm not going to be live this week, but I'll let you know. But definitely join me next weekend for another full episode of the Narrative Podcast. But this one's a rapper dapper. This is a super late broadcast, latest I've ever done. The day just kind of got away from me. I'm usually I do them in the afternoon and upload them probably around 3-4 p.m. But this is damn near going to probably be midnight by the time I'm done with this upload. But definitely every single weekend I do this. I'm going to keep doing it. I got my lane. I know what, I got a mission and a purpose. I'm trying to inspire everybody to, join the crusade, to upload positive content on their platforms, become a narrator, join the crusade, become a narrator, and, put out positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. But, that's it. That's all on this section. And we'll be doing it this weekend again for another full episode of the Narrative Podcast. But in the meantime, download this episode and our previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. And support my poetry blog, hallziespoetrycorner, at www.mrhallziesblogs.com. on blogger.com, and you support by sharing all my poems from Hallzies Poetry Corner on all platforms. You can like on all your platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, whatever platform you're active on, and all previous, TikTok or YouTube. Now for the visual ones, you might have to actually, give me a plug. Like if whatever poem you like, you might have to say it on like a TikTok or a YouTube, something where you're like got a camera in front of you. But on all the other ones, like, Facebook and Twitter and all that, you probably would just share the link. But that's how you support my poetry blog. And the tagline for my poetry blog is Hallzies Poetry Corner, poetry for all occasions. And what it basically is an amalgamation of my poetry. I write poems like on the spur of the moment, just like if it was rap, it would be a freestyle. It's just like, basically whatever I'm thinking. I don't premeditate about the title, content, nothing, just totally spontaneous poetry. And they're all pretty good. So if you like poetry, you will definitely love Hallzies Poetry Corner. You will definitely find something you can relate to. I cover like a lot of different subjects, a lot of different moods. If I had to give it my style of poetry, a style, I would say it's more in the style of verse poetry. For the people that know different forms of it. Speaking of poetry, I've also written a book called, I forgot to tell you the address. So Hallzies Poetry Corner, also on www.mrhallziesblogs.com. It's on www.mrhallziesblogs.com. And the tagline is Hallzies Poetry Corner, poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. And when you read them, you will find out why. And then I've also written a book of poetry titled The Black Card. And that's available on poetizer.com. And you just simply go on poetizer.com, access their bookstore. They have a bookstore because they have a feature where you can basically write books. It's a premium service now. They're now charging people a monthly service to go on there and create. But in the beginning, it was free. I guess they added a monthly or annual fee. And they're going to use that money to enhance, writing and publishing. When you write your books and stuff, publish on that platform by adding more features to it, I'm guessing. But I don't think they'll charge you money to browse their bookstore. I'm working on making it available on different platforms, but for right now it's only available on poetizer.com. So go to poetizer.com, purchase The Black Card. Basically it's 30 poems, a comprehensive look into our culture, original people's culture, all the positive, negative stuff we go through as a people. Basically, like it's a survival guide, your Black Card, So go to poetizer.com today and purchase your copy of The Black Card, or get your Black Card revoked. And that's it, and that's all. That'll end this segment of the Narrator Podcast. Join me this weekend for another full edition of the Narrator Podcast. Now when I'm live, I go live during the weekdays. And I kind of messed up last weekend. I messed up on Thursday. I forgot to sync it to my YouTube and Twitter, but when I go live, it's synced to my YouTube and Twitter, and I broadcast automatically to my YouTube and Twitter. So to get the notifications when I'm live, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'm Halsey Allen on YouTube. Click the subscription button, and then click the notification bell, and you'll get all notifications when I'm live. I got it all figured out because I switched sources. The other source, when I did last Thursday, it wasn't working. Like, I got a bad connectivity signal, and it broke the segment up into different parts. Erased my special effects and all that, but I done switched sources now, so it's not going to happen again. But anyway, yeah, that's one way you can check me out when I go live, and the other way is Twitter. I'm Halsey Allen on Twitter, or X as it's called now. Halsey I Stay Good on Twitter or X, and you will get your notifications when I'm broadcasting live. And that's really it. That's, I'll let you know about any projects I have in the future, but that's all I got on the table right now. Join me again this weekend for another full episode of the Narrator podcast. And that's it, and that's all. I'm sending you love, light, and healing energy over everything you got going on. Thanks for listening. I'm changing. This is Halsey Allen. I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time, and I'm encouraging you to become a narrator and change the narrative on, digital media, one social media post at a time. Until next time, Halsey Allen and the Narrator podcast signing off, and it's like that.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.